Hey everybody, welcome to the Golf Dudes podcast. I'm Joe Calabro. No Rich tonight. He is sick. I He says he has a headache. I think he just had a crappy round of golf and he wanted to take the show off. So he's not here to defend himself, and so that's what I'm going with. But that's okay. We're starting a great show anyway. Joining us right off the top is Massachusetts Women's Amateur Champion Allison Paik. Allison, thanks for joining us. You joined us at the beginning of our little run here, and now you're back. Allison, again, thanks for joining us. And how's you've had a heck of a summer, huh?
Yeah, I have. It's been a pretty good summer despite everything going on. But yeah, I'm just happy that I've been playing well and happy to be here on the show.
Awesome, awesome. So, most recently, obviously, you've won the Massachusetts Women's Amateur, beating Annie Walsh 7-6 at Essex Country Club over in Massachusetts. Obviously, we reported on every round of that tournament for you, and I know your Twitter was piling up with our tweets and stuff at you. So, thanks for retweeting everything. Just talk about that tournament, and first of all, Essex Country Club. I don't know. People in Rhode Island probably don't know much about it. I certainly don't. Talk about what kind of course it is, and is it tough? Is it, easy, relatively speaking? Talk about the course first, and then we'll dive into the tournament itself.
Yeah, so Essex County Club, it's in Manchester by the Sea, Massachusetts, which is kind of north of Boston, kind of off the water. So it's very open, not a lot of trees, a lot of fescue. So you kind of get that wind coming in from the ocean. And like on the back nine, I would say it's quite hilly, which is something you wouldn't really expect, but it was a good challenge. And the greens were rolling really good. So yeah.
So the tournament. Obviously, you played 2 days of stroke play. I believe you got the 3 seed, if I'm not mistaken, through stroke play. Then obviously you go on to match play. It's similar to here at the Rhode Island Amateur. It's basically the same format. So talk about what a grind it was just from every day. I think a couple of days you played 2 matches, right? If I'm not mistaken. Just talk about the grind of playing in a tournament like that for those of us that will never play in something like that.
Yeah, it's a lot of golf. We fit 6 rounds into 4 days, 2 round stroke, and then
Mm-hmm.
the 2 days of match play. You're playing 2 matches both of those days. So yeah, it's definitely a challenge to keep up with your energy level and um, stuff like that. But I've had a lot of practice doing that. I would say with playing in like U.S. Women's Open qualifiers and playing 36 holes in one day. So I think I was very prepared for match play, but um, I think if you just keep your energy level up and not like get too tired and get mentally tired as well, then I think it gets easier as you get that practice of playing a lot of golf in one day.
And what's you talked about keeping your energy level up, and that obviously you have a ton of experience doing that. What is the key to that? What would you say is the key? Is it making sure you're eating right? Is it drinking a lot of water on the course? Is it having snacks on the course while you're I'm assuming, I don't know if you walk or ride, but I'm assuming you have time to grab a Snickers bar or something and eat it real quick. What is the key to playing in marathon tournament like that? How do you keep your energy up? How do you do it?
I think the key is consistency, not like eating every like 3 4 holes and not just like not eating anything until like the turn. I would say that if you don't have those fluctuations in like calorie intake or an energy level, then you should be pretty good because those fluctuations is what causes you to get tired at some points during the round.
Right. So I'll try to keep that in mind. So you grind through this whole tournament and you get to the final against Annie Walsh. It was on a Friday afternoon ish, and you kind of run her right off the course, 7-6. Going into that final match, and how nervous are you? What's your mindset? Do you know her game well? Did you know her game well? What was your mindset going into that final match for the whole women's amateur?
So I think this was like a huge story, but she's also the incoming freshman with me to Columbia, so we're really good friends.
Mhm.
And yeah, I've played with her a bunch growing up too. So I would say I do know her game fairly well. I played with her in a tournament earlier this summer. And so I
Mhm.
have that knowledge of her game, but I think I just need to focus on my own game because you don't really want to let that come into your mind, or else you get a little complacent with whatever you're doing. But yeah, going into the final match, I was definitely a little nervous at the beginning. They were like streaming it on Facebook Live. It's probably one of the bigger stages that I've played on, and I
Mhm.
could like the guy who from Mass Golf who was doing the Facebook Live. You could hear him like talking about your own shot. Like when I would hit it in the fairway, he would like come up to my ball, like film the like yardage marker near my ball, and then like talk about like what my shot is to the Facebook Live viewers, which was a little nerve wracking at first, but I got kind of used to it after a few holes. And I think Anne was similar in that like we were like, oh, this is kind of different than what we've done before.
Right. So you're right. Mass Golf streamed it live on Facebook. Because the one thing people might not know, because it was different at the RI Amateur, in Massachusetts, there were no fans allowed. Correct? There was no fans allowed at the amateur, so they made every effort to stream it. Right. So there were no fans, so that's why they did that. So I mean, hey, in that situation, they did the best they can. I'm sure it was. It sounds like it was kind of awkward, but at least they were able to broadcast the tournament to people. So you're playing with your friend going into the final. Did that ease your nerve? That make it a little bit easier to not be so nervous? You're kind of not thinking about the stage. You're just kind of out there playing with your friend, or were those final round nerves still there?
I think they were there at the beginning, but I think no matter who I played, I would have had the same feeling going into the match.
Yeah. So talk about. I mean, you won 7-6. Talk about how well you played in that tournament. Talk about kind of the key. Looking back on what were your keys to kind of to winning it.
Yeah, so I think that the front nine was very gettable. There's a lot of short par fives that I was able to um, reach into and make birdies, and especially in match play, birdies are very important. Um, and I think overall that day I was putting it very well. Um, I was making a lot of long putts, which I think on your opponent could put like a bit of pressure or nerves onto them when you're just straighting putts from all over. Uh, but I was overall that whole entire week. I think my game was very solid, and I was just taking it shot by shot, though, thinking about each shot. And I think that was the most important thing is not thinking about past shots because it's a lot of golf and just staying in the present.